Hey everyone, down to the Thumpstar workshop, doing another parts information video. Today we're going to talk about throttles. Going to give you a few tips on them and which ones to go for, which ones not to go for, and what their purposes are. So we're going to start off with your quarter turn throttle. The first thing to note about this quarter turn throttle is the bar size, which is 7/8. I mean, all pretty much off-road motorcycles will have 7/8 size, so they pretty much fit any motorbike. Like they'll bolt onto any handlebars. It's only road motorbikes that sometimes have the 1 inch bar. So yeah, as you can see there, it's about 7/8 of an inch. The next thing we're going to talk about is the actual throttle itself. This is a quarter turn throttle. A lot of guys use these throttles for racing, or just an upgrade to their bike to try and make it a bit more trick. We personally no longer use any of these types of throttles on our Thumpstars. A couple of reasons. First one is it's called a quarter turn throttle for a reason, because like the twist is a lot shorter than a standard throttle, and the problem with that is guys put them on their bikes and they turn the throttle and it goes full throttle instant, which is just pulls the sleeve up the carb too quick, and the air fuel ratio and the carb just can't keep up, which makes the bike bog out. Even though the carburetor might be tuned perfectly, yeah, with these quarter turn throttles they just don't quite keep up with how fast it pulls the cable. So that in itself, it's you know, doesn't really benefit you much. The only way you can kind of get around it is if you put like inner rotor kits and try and lighten up the flywheels. But yeah, ideally, you know, it doesn't really benefit you anyway. The next thing about these quarter turn throttles, which can also be called half turn throttles, is you get CNC ones. This is a plastic one, it's all made of plastic. They're not too bad, but the actual all metal ones will have a metal housing and also a metal tube. What happens is how they go together is the actual tube threads into the housing, and what can happen is when you do a jump, it can actually come loose and your handle can fall off the handlebars. So we no longer use any of these throttles on any of our bikes or sell them at all, just because they're actually dangerous. And a lot of motorbikes over the years, especially pit bikes and that, have used these CNC ones. I mean, you can put a lot of Loctite in there, or you know, you can do a few other tricks you can do, but ideally, you know, you don't want to do a jump and have the risk of it actually the throttle tube coming loose and your hand falling off. It's just not worth it. So yeah, I reckon my personal opinion is the quarter turn throttles, just stay clear of them if you can. My pick of the day is this here. It's just a standard generic throttle, and it's also the 7/8 size. So we'll give you some measurements on this. So the length of the throttle is 15.5 centimeters, and then including the actual where your throttle goes into is 17 centimeters. So there's not much more to know than that. Yeah, it's my pick of the day. The only last thing I will show you with these, one thing to be aware of is the actual, hang on a second, I'll just grab a tool. Just going to pull the throttle to bits, and I'm just going to show you a couple of things just to be aware of. Thing you want to make sure with these throttles is that the cable's actually located properly into the locator. If your cable's not located properly into the locator, it can cause your throttle to jam. So if your throttle's feeling a bit sticky or not quite right, recommend pulling it to bits and make sure this locator is actually locating the throttle, the throttle cable into the throttle. Because I mean, you don't want the throttle sticking. It's really dangerous. So yeah, always remember to check that and make sure your throttle has, you know, as soon as you turn it around, it snaps right back. That's how the throttle should work. What I will do, another trick to do with them is CRC. Just give it a bit of a spray. Just a bit of a spray inside it. This will make the throttle cable just slide in and out of it a lot smoother, and give you a lot better feel to your throttle. Even try and spray some CRC down your cable. You can get special tools for doing that. And then once that's all done, CRC, you know, it's located right, tightened up properly. Your throttle should feel like this one here if you have a look on this Thumpstar. See how it's got a lot. See how it snaps back there. So yeah, that's pretty much it for the video today. Hope that helped you out.